Hello, everybody. Today we have Kanchan Bhaskar with us, and I'm really glad that Kanchan has come on our platform on the Women Inspiring Network, which we started during the pandemic. It's an inspirational storytelling platform which inspires the women of our country. We create, share, inform, and inspire, and it's a movement to pay it forward. And just to tell you all a bit about Kanchan, she's an Indian American, first time author with a master's degree in social work and a certificate in life coaching. And she's also a human resource professional. Her expertise is in training and mentoring. So we are definitely going to ask her to mentor some of the young professionals on our platform. And she's an advocate, speaker, and coach for victims and survivors of domestic violence. Kanchan has just unveiled her first book, Leaving How I Set Myself Free from an Abusive Marriage. And now I'm just going to tell Kanchan to take over and tell us about your journey.
Hi, thanks for inviting me to your platform. I am very happy to be here and talking to your audience. Well, my journey, where should I start? I would rather start from the time that I got married and a little bit before that so that you understand my background from where I came. I was born and brought up in New Delhi, India, and in fact, I grew up in a very progressive environment where my parents were educated, they were working professionals, and the environment at home was very blissful, I would say. It was, where we were all together. There was a lot of respect for each other. My father and mother, they cherished each other and loved each other. And that's what I saw growing up. That's what the relationship should be between a married couple and how they can be partners with each other. And that's what I thought that my married relationship would be. I literally grew up between Mills and Boons and, Barbara Cutlands and reading those romantic stories and how young girls, they dream about their marriage and Prince Charming coming one day and picking them up from their feet and literally, swinging them on a horse and taking her into the clouds. So that's what my dreams were too. So when time came for marriage, I uh, found myself in an arranged marriage to a social charmer, very bright young guy who had a very affectionate smile. And I thought that, it seems that my dreams have come true. But my husband at the time, he showed his true colors only after the marriage. And the first time he hit me, my life turned upside down. He was a narcissist, alcoholic, and a violent person, a very angry guy. And, I was really shocked. I was lost. I was pretty depressed and sad and didn't know what to do. And then after a few days, I thought maybe, I should give him another chance. This could be a very spur of the moment reaction or whatever that was. I did that. And once I did that, it never stopped. Every time he would hit me, I would excuse him, pardon him. He would come and plead and be in my feet and cry and say, excuse me one more time and I'll never do it again and I love you. And that process kept happening. I was blessed with one daughter within 11 months of my marriage, and my twin boys came 3 years later. So it became more and more difficult for me to escape uh, my perpetrator. I was pretty much trapped under his control and his power. And there was nothing that I could do. The law did not protect me. I'm talking about early 1980s. The things are, of course, changing and progressing a little bit more with some laws coming up. But at that time, there were no laws to protect a woman with domestic violence. And the divorce attorneys told me that if I go ahead with divorce, then I may not have custody of all the three children, and that was not acceptable to me. So I had to wait till my children turned 18 and they could go into the court and tell themselves that they are going to choose me and live with me with their mother. So during that time, then it was a long time to for me to travel and in that journey, and I was young. I didn't know like what is to be done, where to go, from where to take the support, who should be able to help me. But then my faith in universe kept bringing me a lot of angels and collaborators, uh, guides and mentors, and I took direction from them. So that direction helped me to plan my strategy to escape safely with my three children and just help them, protect them. And I literally structured a roadmap for my escape. And that's how I escaped.
And tell us a bit about your book, you know, How I Set Myself Free from an Abusive Husband. So, can you sort of elaborate a bit more on the book and when
Yeah, I
did
mean,
you start writing it?
my book is my journey. So what I've narrated to you just now is what is in the book too. And the book not only talks about the tormenting part, but the book is full of hope and desire. It talks about my resilience, how I developed it, and then how I transformed myself from a victim to a survivor, the empowerment that I got, uh, and how the faith in the universe, like I said, the angels came in, and I've talked about them in details in the book. And then towards the end, I think when once I was freed, I escaped. I did not finish my journey there. I then transcended into a spiritual being and wanted to set my soul free because my soul was lost. It was taken away by my perpetrator and I needed my soul back. So I had to step my foot into the journey of, into a spiritual path. And I pretty much, I would say, adapted things like mindfulness and meditation and reading philosophical and spiritual books, etc. And that helped me a lot. So, in a way, I think it was only spiritualism that helped me get out of my hurt. And now I'm living a life all on my own terms in the city of Chicago with my three children, and we're all very well happily settled. So that's the good part of the story.
And I wanted to know, how did you develop? Because we are an inspirational storytelling platform, and most recently we did something with Vicky and G20. So I want you to throw some light on how did you develop your self confidence after being abused? If you can throw some light on that.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think the first thing that I needed was to become strong physically, mentally, emotionally. And because I had lost myself to the everyday torment, and I was almost a victim, like I said. So I had to come out of that mentality first, and belief in self, developing that belief was very, very important at that stage of my life. So belief in self is one big tool that I used into helping me in my escape. And for that tool, I used some very universal techniques that we all use on a daily basis. Things like self-love, self-care, self-preservation, self-compassion, self-discipline. I mean, that was again very important to commit myself to the freedom and stick to that. And things like rewiring helped me a lot because I was filled with that hurt and injury and wounds in my psyche, and I had to get rid of those. So I think rewiring helped me, and rewiring I did with the help of chanting some mantras everyday basis. so that my hurt was overwritten by some good, happy moods. And then creative visualization was another thing that I used. Sorry. I would sit in one corner and just visualize, mountains and oceans and birds flying and red flowers and, the sun rising in the sky. So all those creative and things that I liked in my visualization, I would create it and then create some space in my head so that I could have some space to think about myself. So I think those things were really very, very helpful to me to build my resilience, to get my confidence back, and also to have some, emotional and mental space in my head.
And what was your journey of self discovery and mindfulness that helped you manifest the book? Would you like to throw some light on that? I know you've talked about it, but like how did you come out of it? What did you practice? Was there a ritual you followed? If you can show some sort of discipline into that, that would be great.
Yeah. So, as far as ritual and planning is concerned, that I was doing from day one. I turned around and thought that I have to free myself. So that was the point where I totally committed. And when I say committed, that means I had to develop self discipline of some sort. I had to have some rituals of some sort of, daily basis. I had to do those things. Like even small thing like looking into the mirror every day and saying, I'm the best. That was the ritual I followed initially to develop that confidence in myself and say, okay, fine, now I'm good to go. And as far as spirituality is concerned, I think it was very important for me to get in touch with myself, which I was not. I had lost my identity totally. And what could be better than just, meditating or mindfulness, like I said. And so I had to get into a ritual of every day getting up in the morning and sitting for meditation. I started with 15 minutes and then going to 20 minutes and 30 minutes. And now I can sit for an hour. And it was just focusing. It's nothing more but focusing in the center of my eyes here and, just let the thoughts go by. If they are there, I would not shoo them away. But then slowly and steadily, I actually got rid of those thoughts and I could focus. I could focus on, the mantra that I was chanting, or, like people say that you have to search for a light and, things like that. So, yeah, I had to follow some rituals for doing that. And mindfulness, again, I mean, you have to be in the present. And normally, the human mind is that it takes you from the present, it keeps you taking into the past, and it keeps you dreaming into the future. But then you have to every time tell your mind and come back to the present, come back to the now, come back to where I'm sitting and what I'm doing. So, yeah, we have to be disciplined to do those things. And that helped me a lot, in fact.
And what's next for you? What's coming up next?
Oh my God, there is so much that I can see. The purpose of the book was not only to narrate my story, but it was also that I reach out to the people of domestic violence and people who have got adversity in their married lives and they want to, either adjust to it and be happy in life, or if they want to divorce, then that's a different story altogether. But again, just to make it possible for them to take the next steps. And if they have divorced already, then in that case, sometimes they don't know. They have forgotten how freedom looks like. So they don't know what the next steps are. So helping them out with that. Since I've had my own experience added to it, I have now a coaching certificate. I've become a voluntary advocate for people of domestic violence in the state of Illinois. And I do some individual coaching and group coaching for them. So now I'm trying to spread it down to other cities and states. So I am actually starting a practice online, so that people, even from India, if they want, they can always, get in touch, and I can help them, coach them, guide them with my own experience. And these people don't need much; they just need to be listened to, and giving them some guidance, and help them search their own paths. So that's what is next for me, and I'm very excited for that.
And since you know we are an inspirational storytelling platform, we would want you, since we've reached our last question, please give us a winning message for our audience, especially women who have gone through the same, and something to encourage them, to inspire them to move out of their current situation. We'd love to hear your last thoughts.
Yeah, sure. The one thing, if you ask me that what I should say, I would say speak up. Because what happens that we people think that we are victims, and we are fearful, and we are ashamed of the society. But there is no need for you to be ashamed, because it is not your fault. It is the perpetrator who should be ashamed, and not the victims or the abused people. They do not have to hide behind the closed doors and behind the four walls. They need to get out and talk to their colleagues and their neighbors and their friends, and maybe the parents also, just for them to understand what this person is going through, and maybe they can come and help. So it so happens that they don't even seek help. They are just bearing it. They think it is normal, it's all right, this is what my life is now. But no, you are born free, and you need to live free and die free. So it's very important that you set yourself free by just building that resilience, and building that fearlessness, and grit, and gaining that energy to find out a way for you to escape from that trap in a very safe manner. So that would be my first advice to anybody, for that matter.
That was lovely. And thank you so much for joining us today. As you know, we keep doing curated panel discussions. So we just did one with Fiki G20. We've also done sessions on mental health and wellness. We've done
Very good.
design and sustainability. We've done one with IIT and entrepreneurship with Jai Hind College. So socially, we've had like more than 30 million reach, and ours is a growing community. So thank you for joining us today, Kanchan, and inspiring us, motivating us, and all those women out there, whoever have suffered, would request you all to pick up a copy of Kanchan's book. And of course, we'll tell you where you can buy it from. So thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you so